Warning, the following video will contain content that is not appropriate for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back for another one of my Pokemon Battle Revolution discussion battles. Fuck yeah. As you guys know, this is a topic, this is a series, I should say. Wow, I can't fucking speak today. This is a series where I discuss different topics and whatnot. And I'm going to have to give you guys an extra warning before I begin this video. I'm going to be talking about some very, I don't know, touchy subjects, I guess. There's going to be some political shit in here, so I'm just going to warn you guys of that ahead of time. So this is your trigger warning, because I will be saying some things that some people probably will disagree with, because they're psychotic. But anyway, regardless, you know, you've been warned. If you choose to watch this video, again, I want to make it clear. All I'm doing, though, is just stating my honest-to-God opinions on things. That is all I'm doing. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm not telling you how to live your lives. I want to make that abundantly clear. All I'm doing is stating my honest-to-God opinions. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. That is all there is to it. So again, you've been warned. If you are easily offended, you do not want to watch this video. Because again, like I said, I'm going to be discussing some touchy subject matter this time. Okay? Okay, you've been warned. Now then, on with why I'm here. Okay, so I'm today, and this is probably going to be, if anything gets me banned off of YouTube, it's probably going to be this. I'm going to be discussing the whole transgender ideology and my overall thoughts on it and my reasons for thinking the way that I do. But first, I would like to start off with an analogy. And I'm probably not the first person to have come up with this analogy. Again, I'm not really trying to be creative or clever or whatever. I just think it's a good analogy to use to explain the whole concept of kind of like transgenderism, but also like sex change operations and, you know, all this like hormone therapy and shit that they go through. Shit like that. I just feel like beginning with this particular analogy is a very good way to describe it. Okay, so imagine this, right? It's the middle of winter. There's a giant snowstorm, right? You're snowed into your house. And so you can't really go to the store to buy food or anything, right? So you're kind of just stuck with what you got. So one day you get a craving for apples, right? You really want a fucking apple, you know, a nice, crisp, juicy apple. But unfortunately, all you have is oranges. And again, you're snowed in, so you can't really go anywhere. You can't really go to the store to buy apples, right? All you have is oranges currently. But you really, 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 really want an apple. So what do? You grab a can of red spray paint, right? And you spray paint the orange red. So that way the orange is now red, like an apple. Right? And then what you do is you find a little piece of like wood or something, like a tiny little twig, and you glue it to the top of the orange to make it look like an apple stem. So what do since you don't have apples? You turn the orange into an apple, right? However, there's one problem with this. And that is the fact that you cannot fundamentally change what the orange is at its core. At its core, that orange was born an orange, created as an orange, and will always be an orange. You can spray paint it red, and you can glue a little stem on top of it to make it look like an apple. But at its core, that orange will always be an orange. And there is nothing that you can do within the bounds of reality to change the fact that that orange is and will always be an orange. You can change its appearance all you want. You can spray paint it red. Again, like I said, spray paint it red. glue a fucking stem on top, all it is a spray painted orange with a glued stem on top. It's not an apple. You have not successfully changed it into an apple simply because you wanted it to be an apple. And you can do all the cosmetic changes you want to it, but that orange is still an orange. You peel it, you eat it, it's going to taste like an orange. Granted, it's going to taste pretty shitty because it's got a bunch of spray paint on it, so, wouldn't recommend that. But, just because you want something to be something else does not mean that within the bounds of reality you have the ability to change it completely into something that it isn't. It is impossible within the bounds of reality. And that is a fact. And that, I would say, in and of itself, fundamentally describes my feelings on the whole transgender thing. Look. Honestly, I wish we lived in a reality where you could alter reality to certain extents. I wish we could. I wish you could turn fucking oranges into apples. That would be awesome. But that ability does not exist within the bounds of what is real. This thing called reality. It is not possible to completely alter what something is. At the end of the day, things are what things are. For example, the light bulb that's on top of my ceiling right now. That will always be a light bulb. It is a light bulb. That's what it is. The grass that is out there right now is grass. The grass that's in my yard. It is grass. That is what it is. That tree out there right now, tree in my yard, is a tree. That is what it is. And that is what it remains to be at this time. I know, not the best analogy, but you get the point. Things are, but things are. Now, some of you out there are probably thinking, multi-step, are you calling people things? Yes. Yes, I am. 100%. People are things. Oh, multi-step, you're objectifying people? Yes. Yes, I am. I don't know why that's such a controversial thing. People are objects, technically. Yes, people are things. Yes. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. My point is that this whole idea that you can change something into something that it isn't is completely and utterly ridiculous. That's the point that I'm trying to make. With the whole transgender thing, Again, you cannot fundamentally change a person into something that they're not. It's not possible within the bounds of reality. Now, am I saying that it's... that may not always be the case. At some point way in the future of humanity, when technology has advanced way beyond its current status, I'm not saying that it's entirely impossible, theoretically. But with the technology that we have currently, and granted, it would probably be thousands of years before we ever figure out how to change the gender and makeup of a human being after they've been born. It is possible before they've been born to alter the DNA and shit like that, but after they've been born, it is impossible to go back and change that shit with our current technology. And again, I actually wish we did live in a world where we could, again, just turn shit into other shit, I wish we lived in a world where that was possible. That'd be cool as fuck. But the reality of the matter is that we don't. We don't live in a world where we can just turn things into whatever we want. It is important to be grounded in reality and recognize reality for what it is. Trust me when I say this. As a gamer, I understand very well what is the difference between what is real and what isn't. And I always, as a gamer, have to be incredibly cognizant of the difference between what is real and what isn't. It is very important. For example, what's okay to do in a virtual world is not, in some cases, okay to do in the real world. Grand Theft Auto, best example of this. You know, in Grand Theft Auto, I'll fucking just purposefully ride on the fucking sidewalk, just running people over just for shits and giggles. But you don't fucking do that in the real world. You always have to acknowledge that there are differences between what is real and what isn't. Trust me when I say this. This is a symptom of a larger problem with the whole transgender thing. You do not want to live in a world where people cannot distinguish between what is real and what isn't. You do not want to live in that world. Trust me, it will cause all kinds of fucking problems. And again, as a gamer, I understand this very fucking well. Trust me, do you want to live in the world of GTA where people just hijack your car, take it for a joyride, and run over a shit ton of people? And I know what you guys are thinking. Multi-step, this is a slippery slope logic fallacy. Okay. Well, back before, it was all just, you know, gays just want the rights to get married. And then they want the rights to adopt. And then they want the rights to switch genders if they want to. And then they want everyone else to acknowledge that, otherwise you're a bigot and a horrible person. See how quick you go down the slippery slope? There's a point to the slippery slope line of thinking because a lot of times it actually has merit. There is a point to the, you know, slippery slope line of thinking. It shows you what is possible in the future. And we're at that fucking point. But again, transgenderism in itself is a complete dereliction of reality. And that is a fact. Now, I want to make it clear because I have to be very careful with what I'm about to say. I'm not saying that there are, you know, only two genders. I am not saying that. There are some rare cases where you have some kind of genetic abnormality or shit like that to the point where you're technically not one gender or the other. No, so I'm not saying that there are only two genders. However, at the same time, and I have to use a little wordplay here to hopefully trick the algorithm a bit, I'm not saying that there are two genders because that would be inaccurate. But I'm not saying that there isn't not only two genders. Hopefully I said that right. But hopefully you guys out there with brains know what I'm saying. And that is the, again, that is the fact of the matter. And again, the reason why I care so much about this is because, again, you guys do not want to live in a society where people cannot distinguish between what is real and what isn't. It is a dangerous thing to go down that road. Because, unfortunately, and again, like I said, I wish we lived in some kind of fantasy world where we could all just do whatever we want and be whatever we want. I wish like hell that was the case. But it isn't. And it sucks that it isn't, but that's the fucking way it is. Now then. So basically, to make a long story short, I think transgenderism does a lot of harm to society. The whole transgender movement and the idea that men can be women and women can be men and men can compete in women's sports and women can compete in men's sports, although you'd never see that happening. Go figure. Because believe it or not, and this is a biological fact, so I don't care. I'm not going to try to use any fancy wordplay to get my ass out of this because I shouldn't have to. Because it is a biological fucking fact that there are differences between biological men and biological women. Yeah, that's why you see biological men competing in women's sports, but you don't see the reverse happening very often. And if you do see the reverse happening, you don't see them having as much success as the men who compete in women's sports. Funny how that works, isn't it? Funny how some guy can claim that, you know, he's a woman somehow, and then he goes and wins the women's fucking swimming championship. Funny how that fucking works. I mean, I'm sorry. If that is not the most selfish, narcissistic bullshit that I've ever fucking heard of, I don't know what is. Oh, well, I identify as a woman now, so you have to respect my pronouns and let me compete in women's sports. It's all me, 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 me. No, fuck you. You are either a man, or you are a woman, or you have some kind of genetical abnormality, which is such an infinitesimally small amount of the population that, yes, it doesn't matter. Oh, multi-step, are you saying that those people don't matter? Yes. Yes, that is correct. I am saying in the grand scheme of things, those people who have biological abnormalities and don't technically classify as one gender or the other, yes, I am saying that statistically speaking, they do not fucking matter. Sorry. Life has some hard fucking truths sometimes. You know what? And you need to accept those fucking truths for what they are. Because again, like I said, trust me, you do not want to live in a world where people don't understand that, you know, there is a difference between what is real and what is true and what isn't true. Again, you don't want to live in a world where we don't all accept the same basic universal truths, by the way. We're talking about the fucking truth here. Okay? It is not negotiable. There is no fucking negotiation here. You are either a man or a woman, and you can't fucking choose for yourself. It is something that you are born into. That is how it works. That is how fucking biology works. I would know. I got like a fucking C in college biology. God, I fucking hated college biology, though. Like, sidebar here for a second, like, they had you, like, dissect pig fetuses, and it was, like, the nastiest motherfucking shit, I swear to God. I fucking wanted to vomit my brains out. It was fucking nasty, dude. Alright, sidebar over. Back to the main topic. But anyway, you know, if that is not the pinnacle of fucking selfishness and narcissism, I don't know what is. Oh, well, I identify as a female now, so you have to respect that. You have to let me use the men's bathroom or women's bathroom, and you have to let me compete in women's sports now. Again, it's all just me, 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 me with these people. You know what? Get over yourself. You fucking narcissistic piece of shit. Fuck you. You know, the Leah Thomases of the world. Fuck you, you narcissistic, selfish pieces of motherfucking garbage. Fuck you. I'm going to say something controversial here. Directly aimed at, you know, Leah Thomas. I'm sorry, kind of picking on you because you decided to make yourself famous. Leah Thomas is a man. His pronouns are he, him. Because that is fucking grammatically correct. What I just said is not a controversial statement. It is the truth. I'm sorry that that's the way it is. You know what? Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm not sorry, because that is the fucking way it is. Fuck you. I shouldn't have to apologize. Fuck you. That is the fucking way it is. Again, I didn't make up the laws of biology. Okay? I'm not God. You got a fucking problem with the way biology is, take it up with God, or take it up with your parents who decided to give birth to you. Take it up with them. But you are what you are, and it is fundamentally impossible to change that fact. You are what you are from the time you are born till the time you die. That is a fucking fact. Again, would it be nice if we lived in a world where you could fucking, you know, choose to be whatever you want to be? Yeah, but it don't fucking work like that. Sorry, that's fucking reality. That's the world we live in. That is the reality we live in. That's how shit fucking works. And here's the funny thing. Everything that I've said so far, absolutely none of it should be controversial. None of it. Not a goddamn word of what I said should be considered controversial. But it is, because these people are fucking lunatics who are living in a fantasy world. They are narcissistic, selfish, fucking lunatics. And yeah, I'm not afraid to fucking say it. I call a fucking spade a fucking spade. I call a fucking man a fucking man. I call a fucking woman a fucking woman. Because that's what shit is. I call shit what shit is. Things are what things are. Simple as that. These people are narcissistic and selfish, and they only give a shit about themselves. The whole idea of transgenderism is the most narcissistic, selfish bullshit I have ever fucking heard in my entire life. Because again, it's all about me, 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 me. And here's the thing, too. A lot of the times these people will try to use the argument of, you know, the difference between, you know, like they'll say, oh, well, there's a difference between sex versus gender. They'll say something along the lines of, I believe it's, gender is a social construct, you know. But here's the thing. Like, gender is a social construct that is directly based off of your biological sex. What your sex is determines what your gender is. So basically, they are one and the same. Anyone who says, well, you can be whatever gender you want because gender is a social construct, is a liar. They are lying to you to push an agenda. It is as simple as that. Gender is directly related to what sex you are. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar, and they are just trying to push an agenda. Simple as that. That whole argument is nothing more than their attempt to try to justify their radical transgender ideology. Simple as that. You know, it is kind of interesting, though. You know, I was talking to one of my coworkers. She's going into, like, some kind of nursing shit. And it's interesting. You know how they teach nurses how to deal with schizophrenic patients, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie with Russell Crowe called A Beautiful Mind, where, like, basically he has this imaginary friend who he thinks is real, but isn't actually there because he's schizophrenic or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it goes. It's been many years since I've seen it, but basically that's the basic premise of it. So, a lot of the times, schizophrenic people have these delusions, or even in some cases, they completely imagine people that aren't there, or that aren't real. The way that they teach nurses and medical professionals to deal with delusions, basically, is to not acknowledge them. The only way to help the patient is to not acknowledge that their delusions are real, to not feed into their delusions. And not all, but a lot of these transgender people are delusional, in the same way that schizophrenic people are delusional. You know, they may think that they are, you know, one gender, but they really aren't. You know, in the same way that, you know, schizophrenic people can think that the voices that they hear and the people, imaginary people that they see are real, but they really aren't. And so, in my opinion, the best way to treat someone like that is the same way you treat a schizophrenic person, by not feeding into their delusions. Like, it's really sad, actually. Like, the suicide rates for transgender people is really high, you know? A lot of these people are profoundly unhappy people, and they make decisions to alter their body chemically that basically end up ruining the rest of their lives, and it's sad. Honestly, it is. It is sad. But I just thought the parallel between how they treat, you know, schizophrenic patients, between how they should treat transgender patients, you know, but instead you have a lot of these medical professionals encouraging it, which is sick and disgusting, and goes directly against the medical code of ethics, in my opinion. It's honestly kind of sad. So again, a lot of these people grow up to be, like, profoundly unhappy people, and it's depressing, honestly. You know, you make decisions to alter your body that completely end up ruining your life. But I feel like the same way that we treat they're taught to treat schizophrenic patients should be used to treat transgender people. Now, I know what some of you guys out there are thinking. You're thinking, Multistep, are you saying that transgenderism is a mental illness? In some cases, yes. Some people do. There are some transgender people out there who still acknowledge the fact that, you know, they are not the sex that they claim to be. But there are some people out there, too, who are transgender who completely think that they are the gender that they are not. And so, for those people, they should be treated the same way that schizophrenic patients are treated. 100%. In some cases, I do think, not all cases, again, I want to make clear, not all cases, but I think in some cases, transgenderism is a mental illness. Or, what's the technical term for it? Gender dysphoria? Something like that, I think is what it's technically called. Like the actual medical condition. And it should be treated as a mental illness. That's my humble opinion. I feel like that's the best way to help these people. And here's the other thing, too. Here's why I don't want this shit being normalized, or this radical transgender ideology being pushed, you know, upon society. Here's the real reason. And it doesn't affect me too much right now. But imagine you have a wife. Imagine you have a daughter. Right? For those of you men out there. Would you want some fucking, let's just say, weirdo who is a man, biological man, dress up as a woman and claim the right to use the women's bathroom, and then using the same bathroom as your wife or daughter? Would you feel comfortable with that? Now, I want to make it abundantly clear, because I have to be very careful with what I say on YouTube, even though this video is probably going to get banned anyway. I'm not necessarily saying that, you know, I am not saying that transgender people, that all transgender people pose a risk, you know, a risk to women who use the bathroom. And you guys hopefully can infer as to what I'm referring to. The most awful thing that someone can do to someone else. I'm not necessarily saying that, but what I'm saying is that there are some men out there who will take advantage of the transgender policies and transgender ideology, possibly to be able to go into women's bathrooms and do some not very nice things. I'll just put it like that. So let me ask you again, to all the men out there, some of you maybe have wives or daughters, would you feel comfortable with your wife, daughter, or girlfriend going into the bathroom with a biological man who puts on some lipstick and a wig? I personally would not be comfortable with that. You know, and granted, luckily for me, I don't have to worry about that too much because, you know, like, I don't have a wife or a daughter. But if I was in that position, I would absolutely not be okay with that. Because there are some scumbag guys out there who will take advantage of that policy and do horrible things to women. Just say, think about that. Because I personally wouldn't be comfortable with that. That's for damn sure. You're goddamn right I'd have a fucking issue with a biological man using a woman's bathroom. Yes. That's a fucking problem. You're damn right I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. Now, here's the thing. Some of you guys are probably asking yourselves, okay, multi-step, why the hell do you care so much about this issue? You know, why does it even matter to you? And I'm going to be honest, it actually really doesn't matter that much to me. To me personally. Like, at the end of the day, you know, like, if you want to pretend that you're the opposite gender or something or whatever, you know what? It's America, land of the free. If that's what you choose to do with your freedom, that's fine. The only thing I am asking out of, like, the transgender people out there, the only fucking thing I'm asking, do not expect me to buy into your delusions. That's all I'm asking. You want to be transgender, you want to do whatever the hell, that is fine. That is your prerogative. But do not expect me to use the proper pronouns. Do not get mad at me when I don't use the proper pronouns. That's all I'm asking. Do not think it's okay for you to use, you know, for biological men who identify as women, do not think that I'm going to be okay with you using the women's bathroom, because I am not. Don't expect me to be okay with it, and don't expect society to be okay with it, because it's not okay. Again, as a general sense, that is all I'm asking. Like, again, you want to claim to be transgender or whatever, fine. But do not expect me and the rest of society to buy into your delusions. That's all. That's literally all I'm asking. Not even asking you to not be transgender or anything. Again, like I said, throughout my, you know, my different discussion battles that I've done and shit, I think I've been pretty damn consistent on the whole, you know, my body, my choice argument. Like, for example, I have no problem with, you know, shit like abortions and whatnot. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I actually personally don't think that abortions are morally justifiable, but I also don't care, honestly. I know that may sound shitty, but I honestly just don't care. You know, I'm not a saint. I don't go around giving a shit about every single random person that I come across. I'm not going to lie and pretend that I do. But bottom line, that's all I'm asking out of the transgender community. Do not expect me, and do not expect the rest of society to buy into your delusions. That is all I'm asking. Again, I'm not even asking you to not be transgender or any shit like that. It's not what I'm asking. You can feel free to do whatever the hell you want. Again, I've been very consistent on the whole my body, my choice argument. You want to go get a sex change operation? That's fine. You want to go have your cock mutilated and turned into a fake vagina? You know what? That is your fucking prerogative. You do you, man. Whatever happens below your fucking waist is your fucking business, as far as I'm concerned. You know, you want to go get a sex change operation? Whatever the fuck makes you happy, man. Even though I don't think it will make you happy. But, you know what? You are free to do whatever you want. Again, your body, your choice. I've been consistent on that with the COVID vaccine. I've been consistent on that with abortion. And I've been consistent on that with the whole transgender thing. Again, if that's what makes you happy, go for it. You know, I've always said, again, my body, my choice. That's why I don't support vaccine mandates. That's why I do support abortion. And why I don't necessarily not support people getting sex change operations. I think it's fucking weird, granted. And I think I'm entitled to my opinion. But all I'm asking out of the transgender community, literally the only fucking thing I am asking for out of the transgender community, is to not expect me and the rest of society to feed into your delusions. And if you do expect me and the rest of society to feed into your delusions, then you are a narcissistic, selfish fucking prick and a piece of shit. Because you're asking us to deny reality itself, and that's not going to happen. Sorry. I choose to stay grounded in reality. For someone who sits around playing video games all day, I choose to stay surprisingly grounded in reality. You know, that's the fucking way it is. Reality is what reality is, and unfortunately we do not live in a reality where we can alter reality itself. Things are what things are. It is as simple as that. Like I said at the beginning, you can take an orange, you can spray paint it red, you can glue a stem on top, but at its core, that orange will always be an orange. Simple as that. And again, literally all I'm asking out of this is to not expect me and the rest of society to buy into your delusions. Again, you want to dress up like the opposite gender? You even want to go through with the surgery, all that shit, that is fine. I don't really care. You do whatever the fuck you think will make you happy. That's really all any of us can do, right? But don't expect me and the rest of society to feed into your delusions. Because if you expect that, then again, as aforementioned, you are a selfish, narcissistic prick. That is the very height of selfishness and narcissism. You're not that fucking special. No one in this world is, myself included. Simple as that. Again, literally all I'm asking is to not expect the rest of the world to feed into your delusions. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. All right. Well, I'm curious to see how my getting banned off of YouTube speedrun is going. But anyway, yeah. Wow. If I don't get banned after that, I don't know what will get me banned. Actually, if I don't get banned from this, I got to give YouTube a lot of credit. Like, if I don't get banned for posting this video, like, although if it does get banned off of YouTube, you will be able to watch this video on Rumble. You guys have my word on that. because YouTube can suck it, because I'm going to say whatever I want. I'm going to say what I believe to be true, and I have the right to speak my opinions. Simple as that. You know, again, I don't hate people who are transgender. I want to make it clear. I think they are very misguided, but I don't necessarily hate them. You know, I think they are misguided, in some cases mentally ill, and I think they need help, but at the end of the day, you know, they're people just like everyone else. They're free to do whatever the hell they want. And again, I don't really care at the end of the day. All I'm asking is that you do not expect the rest of the world to feed into your delusions. That's it. That's all. You don't get to use, you know, whatever bathroom you want. You don't get to do that. You don't get to compete in whatever sport you want. You don't get to do that. You don't get to have everyone call you the pronouns that you prefer. That's not how language works. That's all I'm asking. Again, is to, you know, don't expect the rest of the world to feed into your delusions. That's all. It's literally all I'm asking. And again, I'm trying to be as nice about this as possible, you know. Again, I'm not doing this to be an asshole. I'm doing it to shed light on a real issue that can have actual profound impacts on our society. That's why I care. That's why I care about this issue. To a certain extent. I don't care about it a whole lot, but I care about it to a certain extent. If I had a wife and a daughter, I'd probably care about it a lot more, but I don't. So I can't really say that I personally am invested in it. I just wanted to share my overall opinions and thoughts about it, so that way there are no misconceptions moving forward. Again, I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from as a person. So again, just want to make it clear. That's really all I have to say on the issue. That's the main point that I wanted to make, is just don't expect everyone else to feed into your delusions. Unless you enjoy being a selfish, narcissistic prick. But anyway, that's really all I have to say. So, I actually will be genuinely shocked if this video does not get banned off of YouTube. But if it doesn't, I will say this. I will give YouTube a lot of credit if they actually decide to not ban this video. I will give them a lot of credit. So, it'll give me hope that freedom of speech isn't entirely dead on YouTube yet. Really keeping my fingers crossed that Elon Musk just buys all of Google. Please, Musk, make it happen. I know Google's a much bigger company than fucking Twitter, but still keeping my goddamn fingers crossed. Frickin' Elon Musk, man. I love that guy. Like, not gonna lie, there's not too many guys I'd be gay for out there, but not gonna lie, Elon Musk might very well be one of those guys. Alright, anyway, I've said too much. But anywho, nah, but all joking aside, like, pray to God that one day that fucking happens. You know, but either way, we'll have to wait and see. But either way, as far as the whole transgender issue thing is concerned, again, I just wanted to make my thoughts on that particular topic very clear, so that way, again, you guys understand where I'm coming from and all that good shit. But yeah. Okay. Either way, that's all I have to say. I've dragged this out for long enough, so yeah, if I'm still alive on YouTube after this video, stay tuned for more of my Pokemon Battle Revolution discussion battles coming up next. We'll see if I can see if I manage to stay on YouTube or get banned. We'll see. Because in this day and age, apparently even just, you know, speaking basic truths and speaking opinions is enough to get you banned off of YouTube, which is, or banned off of social media in general, I should say. So, what a dumb fucking world we live in. It's all fucking stupid. Everything's stupid these days. I really hate it. Which is why I really just want to lock myself in my studio and just play video games until my fucking eyes bleed. But unfortunately, I have to go out into society every once in a while because, you know, I need a paycheck. So, kind of sucks. But, you know, that's the reality of the situation. I choose to accept reality for what it is. Alright. Well, either way, guys, that is going to be it for this one. So, Stay tuned for the next Pokemon Battle Revolution discussion battle coming up next, and until then, peace out.